All right, we're back.
We back.
Yo, we need a name for this. Like our sessions, because our sessions are primarily just me and you.
Right.
So like Tea with Naomi, something.
We'll have to think on that because I can't think right now.
Yeah, no, we'll get back to that. But this was your idea.
Yes.
And you said red flags and deal breakers.
Yes.
So
it was based on a Facebook post I had seen. So it wasn't. I won't take all the credit for it.
No idea is original.
Right.
We all fall into the same understanding at some point in time in our experience, right?
Yeah.
But I'll let you lead. Like, what was
the question was, is there a difference between a deal breaker and a red flag? So of course my answer was yes, or actually it may have said are they the same? Either way, in my opinion, yes, a deal breaker is different than a red flag. A deal breaker is something like you just can't do nothing about. Like you can't fix it, you can't change it, or at least at that present time. A red flag is just something that you need to kind of be mindful of.
It's alarm, a warning sign.
Yes, it's to be mindful of. And if that person really is working on growing, let's say they really like you, respect you, they will work on that red flag. What'd you say?
They will change, right?
Yeah, they will work on that red flag. So like a deal breaker would be 6 kids with six different mothers. Yeah. Oh, hell no. That's a deal breaker.
Leave him alone.
That's a deal breaker. There's nothing that can be done about that. That's a deal breaker. Now, red flag could be
6 girlfriends.
Nah. Like being unemotionally available,
Okay.
As long as that person acknowledges, that they are not emotionally available, but they would love to work on it, that's something to me. Yes, that's definitely a red flag, but it doesn't have to be a deal breaker if they're willing to work on it.
So like self-awareness as far as I'm aware at the state that I'm in that I'm not able to emotionally attach to you right now. So don't get emotionally attached to me. Let's just keep this boundary as friends.
Or not even, they're not willing, just knowing yourself as a person.
But they don't know.
They meet you and they could say, look, I really, really like you. I know how I usually am in previous relationships, but I would like to work on that, or I'm trying to work on that. Not saying like I'm not emotionally available, so like let's just kick it. Like no.
Yeah. But I mean, it's almost the same thing, right?
No, because I feel like people who say that they want their cake and eat it too. Like if you're not emotionally available, then why are you trying
dealing with anybody?
Yes. Or even taking it to that level. Like you said, we should just be friends.
Yeah.
So we all know what we doing.
Some people, but I mean, like some people know what they're doing and do otherwise anyway.
Yeah.
Like that's what addiction is, right?
Yeah.
Like when people can't control what they do outside of what they want to control as their inner person.
Right.
Like they understand who they are, but they have these behaviors that go outside of that and it damages people.
Yeah.
Toxicity.
Yep.
That's a toxic person.
Or let's say a red flag could be, actually this could be a red flag and a deal breaker, but it could be a deal breaker that can, once it's remedied, it will no longer be a red flag. So you don't have a job, you don't have a car, you're homeless, just something that's just kind of crazy. Like, okay, well, I'm sorry, I can't date you right now, but hey, maybe down the road, you're not homeless, or you do have a car, or you do have a job. So yes, at that time it was a deal breaker, but now it's not. But depending on the circumstances surrounding why, that could be a red flag like, why did you lose your job? Why are you homeless?
Yeah.
Now the whole car thing, that's one thing because things happen. People live in cities that they may not need a car. So that one's kind of the iffy one.
But is according to like what you're saying, is correlated with what you're saying. Like, look at
You okay?
Got rice in my throat. Like, people's social networks.
Right.
Like when people don't have friends, or they do have friends, but all their friends seem to be like unfavorable in a healthy environment. Like if all your friends are drug addicts, or all your friends are abusive or sexually promiscuous, and people are like, oh no, like I'm not like that. These are just my friends. Like, like, come on, man. That's a red flag.
At some point,
Chickens don't flock with eagles. Like, you don't connect with anybody that's not within your bandwidth.
Right. Especially, I would say, as you get older. Like, when you're young, you may not be like that. You hang around, y'all just...
You might do anything.
Y'all grew up together, whatever.
Yeah.
Definitely as you hit, like, 30, at least by 30, the people that you're hanging with are definitely a reflection of you.
Exactly. So,
yeah.
I think for the most part, like, red flags are like pathways to deal breakers. Like, at what level is your red flags at? Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you graduate.
Right.
Like, the first thing that was on my list that I sent you earlier was liars.
Mm-hmm.
All right. People might lie about stupid shit.
Right.
But who are you lying to, and what are you lying about?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if it's someone close to you that means something to you and you're lying about stupid shit, chances are, if you're doing something foul, you're not going to tell them the truth about what you're doing.
Right.
So it's like, you know, it's progressive.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
if you're lying to someone that you care about, and I see that means you lie to me.
Exactly.
You know?
Like, you don't care. Like, you're just in it for yourself. You're self-serving.
Right.
You just want what you want out of it. As long as everybody else is compliant, you're completely happy about lying about whatever you got. And that was also under my list, under lack of integrity. Like, meaning, like, what people are comfortable doing if they could get away with it.
Yeah.
If
so that's a red flag for you? Lack of integrity?
Yeah, and a deal breaker. And that correlates with lack of accountability.
Right.
You know, like, if you lie about dumb shit and we're close, you're not going to tell me the truth about something I would let you go for.
Right.
And then if that's the case, it correlates with something that if I'm not looking and you think you could get away with it, you going to do it.
Right.
So how could I trust you?
It's like you didn't even need to lie about that.
Yeah. If it's not that serious.
Right.
But real liars only lie about serious things that'll disconnect them from the connection, that'll keep them from getting what they want.
Right. A liar is a liar when you think of, I mean, I guess we all tell a little lie here and there, but
yeah, what is it about? Like, what's the ramifications of the lie?
But if you lying about big things, it's like, okay, if it's little, I'm gonna lie about that too, because that's what
it don't matter. Yeah.
Lying.
Like, matters no more. You you desensitize to it.
Right.
And like, once people desensitize themselves to certain things, it's nothing no more.
Right.
You know, it's like push-ups. If you do 10 push-ups every day for a year, you know, like 20 is nothing, but
yeah, if only I could stick to my push-ups.
Maybe that was a bad analogy. I ain't have something good to follow that up with.
No, I'm just thinking about, since you mentioned push-ups, like, that is a goal of mine, to do push-ups every day.
2 push-ups?
No, not 2, 5. Like 5 really good ones.
Like, you be doing good.
Yeah, I try.
Yeah, I mean, health is important. What else you have on your list? I think a lot of my
So
things like coincided.
yeah, so I really have a list. It's just mostly like explaining the differences. Like there's definitely a difference, you know, because a deal breaker is like, no, I can't accept that. More than likely, you can't fix that. A deal breaker is like, it's a deal breaker. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It breaks this deal that I was thinking of taking or entering
Yeah.
into. So, but a red flag is almost as bad as a deal breaker, but it gives you some wiggle room to kind of work it out. It's not as extreme.
Yeah, I think red flags are not. I think they give you a window into people's personalities to what the deal breaker might actually be.
Right.
Because if you put an amplifier on a red flag, it's more than likely a deal breaker. That's more than likely something you're going to step away from if it's not fixable or healable or.
Right. But we all have some red flags.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
everybody has toxic behavior in some way, shape, or form.
Right. So it's really about which red flag am I willing to accept. Deal breakers you don't accept. So the red flags is like, okay, I see this. You know, clearly this is an issue that you have. Am I willing to work with you through it, and for how long?
Yeah. And it's whether the person could be true to themselves and their awareness if you're important to them enough.
Right.
To where they could be willing to change, because most people, I don't think, do that. I think people are just trying to bullshit you to get you to conform to their manipulation plays a part in a lot of relationships on both ways, whether it's feminine energy, masculine energy. Like a lot of people just are who they are.
Exactly.
And then it's like a crazy thing to where like if you just accept the person for who they are or who they're not, two sides of a coin, and what they're not working on and how they won't change, like there's still room for them to argue the point the opposite way. Like people are full of shit. Like how many people like, you know what, I am like that and you shouldn't deal with me. Like a lot of people aren't aware enough in themselves to say, you know what, I really like this person, but the way that I am and the way I orientated myself, I'm not going to save this person from my bullshit. Yeah. I like you enough to punish you and keep you around me, even though.
And I don't really think that's what they're actually thinking. It's just
no, they're not thinking it. But
it's just so hard.
The reality of it.
Right.
You're not changing.
It's just so hard to get out of those habits, especially, you know, once you hit like 30, 35, 40, like we pretty much stuck no matter how much we want to change. We're almost stuck into this pattern of who we are. Almost,
yeah, but there's still room. Like if you want to change,
there's room to grow. I just think it's just hard. It just feels hard.
It's this thing about humanity, like how people are in general. Like, say, like as far as health, like you being a vegan, right? Like the chances of you getting cancer is really low because of your diet. Like, you know, like all that stuff starts from diet. I mean, sometimes it's biological, but then there's precursors and other variations. But how many times do people actually prevent the problem? Like people always want to change when it's too late. Oh, I have stage 4 colon cancer. I'm going to become a vegan. Like, nigga, you going to die. Like, you waited way too late.
Yeah. Which is why, honestly, that's why I went vegan, because 3 of my relatives had already passed away from cancer. So it's like, I watched a documentary, Forks Over Knives. I was like, well.
What was it?
Forks Over Knives.
All right. We'll post that in the description.
Yes. So I was scared of cancer. I'm like, cancer? No, I don't want cancer. So I was like, okay, I'm going vegan. And then my mom was diagnosed with colon cancer 6 months later. So yeah, I mean, but that's another thing too. Yes, I think being plant-based and vegan can help, but I think a lot of times people think it's the cure-all too. But like you said, if you're getting into it late, then no, you know.
Yeah, you're already too deep into the water. Like I have a lot of family, like my great uncle died from colon cancer. My grandmother had some colon cancer. They had to cut her colon. So now her like digestive tract is really short. She don't like to leave the house. My
Yeah.
sister had cancer on her pituitary gland.
Oh
Like
wow.
cancer runs in my family
Yeah.
too. But I think about how we want to recycle and stuff like that. Like it's too late.
Right.
It's too late for Earth. Like once we stop, you know what I mean? Like that, like you have to equate it to the consciousness that we deal with.
Right.
Like even within ourselves. Like most of the times when we want to change, like man, you should have did that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
On the death track, and now we up here catching dolphins with like those plastic things we wrap 6 cans with and like
Speaking
trying to
speaking of
plastics
dolphins, have you seen the documentary? I think it's Seaspiracy. I think that's how you say it. Man, once you watch that, I mean, I know you eat seafood, but once you watch that,
mercury and
it's not even about that. It's just
everything else.
I mean, yeah, it's just crazy. I was like, oh.
I think the ocean life is probably worse off than everything else.
Right. That's pretty much what they were saying.
Because everything goes up and comes back down into the ocean.
Yeah. So I was like, wow, this is crazy. And it's like once you become aware of something, it's hard to ignore it.
You go down the rabbit hole.
I'm like, oh my God, I was not aware. And you know how they say, you know, what'd you say?
Like, I just want to leave my body and never come back.
Right.
I don't want to feed this thing no more.
The things that they focus on, like plastic and plastic straws, that barely accounts for what's really going on out there.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, you should check it out, you know, when you get a chance.
No, we're going to get up after this. You're going to give me all them links, and I'm going to leave them in the description.
You said what?
No, I was like, you're going to give me all them links. I'm going to leave them in the description.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I will.
You got to be informative. You know what I mean?
Right.
Other people
you got to learn. We want y'all to learn.
What's something else you got? Red flags.
Red flags. Not being on time. That's one for me. Like, I not being on time, and a lot of times people don't realize like how disrespectful that is
to other people's time.
Yeah, like to them it's not, oh, I'm always late, but for me, I'm on time. So that's a red flag for me, because that means if we're together in a relationship, you're running behind, and that's gonna make me run behind. That's gonna make me look bad.
Yo, that's like a big thing. Like, I'll give you an analogy. Like, it's just like messing with people that we can consider toxic or not. Mm-hmm. Say, like, if I'm all the way up, like if I'm like a 4 or 5, if you were to rate me, mm-hmm. But then if you're a -3, mm-hmm. Like I'm a 2, fucking with you.
I'm glad you said a 4 or 5.
Nah, you know what I'm saying though? Like,
why you give yourself that low rating?
I'm just saying, like,
you try to be real humble, huh? Like almost 3 or 4.
Always.
Like I ain't 7 or 8. I'm an 8.
Nah, I'm just saying, like, you know, like if I'm a 5 and you a -3, you just made me a 2. I don't even want to be a 5, and now I'm a 2 fucking with you.
Right.
Like
other people don't understand. Like, first of all, I'm gonna just get frustrated with you, but I feel like your partner is a reflection of you.
Exactly.
So if of course, I'm not gonna leave you at the house, so I gotta wait for you to get ready.
Exactly. Now we both late. Now we both look like we ain't got our shit together.
And then it's like we don't respect whoever's
time you want.
Whatever meeting, you know. So to me, that's a red flag. I mean, not saying that makes that person a bad person, but it's a red flag for me as far as this relationship, because more than likely, if they're not an on-time person, that's not going to change overnight.
No, that's they orientated themselves like that. They have things that they need to work on.
And then I would say like health. That can be honestly a deal breaker. Like if you're not health conscious, that's a deal breaker for me. If you're not health conscious, because I'm health conscious. So what I look like working out, eating healthy, and you just sitting on the couch, eating whatever, don't work out.
Nachos.
Yeah, that's a deal breaker for me. It's definitely a deal breaker. So
That's
I mean,
understandable.
yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, I don't want you to start working out to get me, because to me, it's like, it'll be one thing if we met, we became friends, we worked together, and you're like, man, I'm really inspired by her. Let me start working out, but
Yeah.
not like, oh, I gotta do this if I want to get her. Like, no, I need you to
Yeah,
be
no, that
inspired.
should never last.
Yeah, I need you to be inspired on your own to work out, eat relatively healthy.
Yeah.
And,
People definitely have to align on their own journey. You're right about that. Like that, stuff like that never works. One of the other things I got on here is jealousy.
Mm-hmm.
Like people that think that everything is like a competition. Like
Right.
even with you or others, like I think that's just a toxic behavior.
Right.
Like everybody is who they are in their own space.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has the right to grow in their own space.
Right.
And if you have to I think people that make the competition a thing, they're really making it about themselves. Like, I'm better than you, or or you're not. Like, it's like or
it's really about insecurity. If you're
ultimately, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What else?
I mean, hopefully you won't have that within a relationship or, friendships. But honestly, I feel like some of that does be going on, or like with friendships or people and networking.
Yeah. I think it's like a jealousy and competition. It can be healthy. Mm-hmm. Like there's a little bit of things, because it's like kind of a mirror initially, right? Like you could see something in somebody and you could be like, okay, why am I not doing that? I could be there. It could be inspirational, but then it becomes toxic when you start faulting people for not being you.
Right. Yeah.
And it's like kind of the same thing with advice. Mm-hmm. When people ask you, like, most people don't give advice, they give tutorials on how to be them. Mm-hmm. So like, that's not empathizing with somebody. It's like, maybe it'll work for you to do this, even if it's outside of their realm of perception, but they tell you how to be them because they're better than you. Right.
Like, I never thought about it that way, but that is true. Most of the advice that we give is based on our own experiences and our perception. Not that it's wrong, but like you said, thinking a little bit further outside of the box to see, even though it doesn't apply to me, how does this apply to them? And there's
empathy, because sometimes like what's good for somebody is not good for you.
Right. Yep.
We had this one. How a person treats people. Like, so like,
okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was asking you, is that the deal breaker or the red flag, or both?
It can, I think it's one of those, like, it's like a red flag and it could lead to be a deal breaker. Because some people are so selfish that if their focus is on you, they don't care how they treat other people.
Right.
But on the other side, you have to be aware and say, like, yo, if you like me, so I'm good, but you're treating the waiter and the bartender and everybody else like shit, what's going to happen when you're mad at me?
Right. Or even if they become like super obsessive over you, and then they don't give attention to anybody else, that's like
toxic.
A deal break. Yeah. Like you said, if you don't know how to treat other people with respect, you should treat everybody with respect. And I think this would be a good topic to talk about next week, because I was talking about something. I get into these Kevin Samuel debates on Facebook, but
me too. Like,
basically the guy was like,
last week,
he was like, he doesn't respect every woman, and I feel that that's incorrect. But I think that'll be a good topic to talk about.
Because, absolutely.
My thing is, I respect everybody. I don't trust everybody, but everyone gets my respect until they disrespect me.
Exactly. Till they prove themselves unworthy.
Right. But I think especially every Black woman deserve, nothing to any other race, but like women, of course, but every Black woman deserves to be respected. Not, oh, that's my mom, so I respect her. Well, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But if you walk out on the street, you should have respect for a woman that you lay eyes on. She shouldn't have to do anything special to get your respect. So I was like, oh, that's sad to hear. When you said that, I was like, that's sad to hear.
When you see that indifference in a person, you show, like, they're showing you their inconsistency within themselves.
Yeah. I got actually
truth is fundamental.
Yeah, I learned that from my dad. I believe he had told me like he respect women. He don't have like a respecter of women. Even when women are disrespecting themselves, that's on them. That don't mean you just go out there and be disrespectful to them.
Oh, tell me about it. I'm not gonna get into that. I had this.
Now, of course, in your head, you are gonna have a hierarchy of like where you see them. I get that.
Well, even that, like that's like almost a red flag to me, because you're putting yourself above people. Yeah. And that's not what humility is. Like, everybody deserves the same kind of treatment, you want to be treated with. It's not based off of like material value of somebody or their body count or whatever kind of crazy shit that people come up. People are people first.
Right.
Like, let's respect people first, and then we'll move on from there. If you have ideas that you hold that I don't agree with, it doesn't mean I have to disrespect you. Like, I'll just separate myself from you, and I'm not gonna engage in it.
Even like when you drive past homeless people, like that could literally be you one day.
It could.
So to look down, because a lady came up to me in the parking lot at Walmart the other day, and she asked me for money. So I don't like to give money, but if she needed something like food or something, I would have been willing to like go get the food for her. But like just handing you money, like I don't know. First of all, I think I did have some cash, but she said something about a hotel room or something, and I'm like, but like if you need some food or something like that, I'm willing to do that.
That happened to me one time, and I actually cussed the guy out.
Oh no.
No, but I blessed him though, because I was coming out of the liquor store. I was going to a cookout, like a 12-pack and a couple bottles or something. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm hungry. This and this and that." I'm like, "Well, bro, Boston Market is right there. If you hungry, why the fuck are you outside the liquor store? Like, you're insulting my intelligence." But what I did was,
probably figured more people gonna come to the liquor store than Boston. I don't know.
That's bullshit. You weren't hungry. There's a pizza place right next door. You weren't hungry.
You want a drink?
Yeah. So what I did was I gave him 3 beers and bought him Boston Market. Like, come on, bro. Like, if you're hungry, you stand outside food places.
Right,
like, it's not rocket.
I think it's better to buy them something versus giving them money.
Because then you don't know where it's going and you don't know what they're doing. Yeah. Like, I'll help you. I'm not going to enable you. Like, I'm not going to put $20 in your hand for you to go buy heroin.
Yeah.
Like,
it's unfortunate. It's an unfortunate situation, but just because you could always be there. Of course, everyone's story different of how they got there.
Yeah.
But to look down on people, No.
Everybody has a journey. Just because you don't understand it don't mean they're wrong.
Right.
Everybody don't have the same strengths. You know what I mean? Everybody don't have the same support system. Some people don't have any support system whatsoever. And they could be the best person on the planet, but just can't cultivate themselves enough to get there.
Right. Oh, another one is cleanliness. Like, everybody was not raised the same. So this thing, as a guy, you can answer. I don't know if I seen it on Facebook, but I know one of my exes, because like it was a long distance relationship or whatever, and he would send me like selfies or whatever, or we would video chat, and I'm like, you need to clean up. So he was, I wouldn't say he was joking, but he was serious. Like,
that's a red flag.
Like, that's what you for. And I'm thinking, like, if
that's
you
a deal breaker.
Woman, if you don't know how to keep your house clean without a woman, then that's crazy. You should need a woman to help you keep your house clean.
Well, I'll tell you this. A person's living environment reflects their mental space.
Right.
Like no healthy person with a healthy mental space has a fucked up living environment.
Right.
You clean up, you get up in the morning and you make your bed, you brush your teeth.
Yeah.
When I see grown people with yellow, green teeth, what's your life like? Like, what do you be doing? Like, I don't.
Like, I'm really anal about hand washing, especially after you use the bathroom. Like,
Well, if they got green teeth, do you think they wash their hands?
so like one time I was like video chatting with this guy, and when he had to use the bathroom, I'm like, did he wash his hands? Like,
Yeah.
stuff like that bothers me. Like,
If people had a black light, they'd be disgusted.
So yeah, if you're a man, for me, if you're a man, and I'm not saying it gotta be like clean like a woman, but if your house is dirty, you dirty,
no,
that's a deal breaker. That's not even a red flag. That's a deal breaker.
No, if your house dirty, you dirty. If your living space is filthy, you're a filthy person or you're depressed.
That's a deal breaker for
like
me.
it I'm telling you, it reflects heavy on a person's mind state.
Right.
I don't know a person that's healthy that you walk in their house and like it's stinking here. Like garbage. Like, what are you doing? Like, that's not a healthy person. No healthy person.
Deal breaker for me. If you can't keep stuff clean, and you got to go, or this ain't gonna get started. No.
Did you smell him? You said it was a long distance relationship.
Oh yeah, but we see each other. Yeah, he smelled fine, but it's just like, what's going on with your house? Huh? What'd you say?
I said it was just them days. I'm talking shit.
You silly. But no, I was like, what is all that stuff?
Nah, yeah.
You know how people hoard stuff? I'm like, what is all that?
Yeah, I did moving for a while, and I seen some of the nastiest hoarding.
That would drive me crazy.
I seen people with like cereal boxes from like the 1980s. I seen all kinds of crazy things.
Wow, that is crazy. So yeah, that's the one thing for me. Like, if you're not clean, nah, we can't move forward.
Nah. Your internal world reflects your external world. Like, if one's clean, the other like not.
And then a lot of times when and let's say things aren't even clean but junky, you're right. When you're going through a lot, things aren't gonna be as organized. So if let's say you go to my house and you see stuff all over the place, that could be a red flag to see, like, well, what else is going on in your life?
What is going on? Yeah,
that
if
may
you don't
not
have the mental energy to clean your space.
Right. Yeah. So like, even if it's not clean, even if it's not unclean, if it's messy and disorganized, that could be a red flag for you to kind of just chill, take it slow, because they could be dealing with something. So
yeah, and not everybody open up immediately.
Yeah,
that's the fucked up thing about relationships, because it might take you years to figure out that somebody has some kind of like deeply rooted childhood trauma that they can't process. Right. And it manifests as some like toxic behavior. You're like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You never did this before. Like, oh, I just haven't been around long enough to see the cycles.
Right. You should definitely spend a lot of time with the person you're dating. Yeah.
Talk. Watch what they guard. What else? I think I, in some way, shape, or form, covered everything I had on my list.
Okay. Yeah, I think
it was all correlating. Like, I think all those things, like, they run all along the same line.
Right. They don't have to mean the same. They don't necessarily mean the same, but it's definitely basically a red flag is like, stop. What's going on? Deal breaker is goodbye.
Shut them down, open up shop.
Like, goodbye. We could be friends. Well, actually, you could be friends with both, because red flag, like,
yeah.
Do I want to move forward?
You get older, man. Like, you don't even want them friends no more. That's what I found. Me and my boy was just talking about. I'm like, man, like, who has time to deal with grown people that don't know how to deal with themselves?
Right. Yeah.
Unprocessed stuff within yourself leaks into your relationships.
Yeah.
And then once it leaks,
Go. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, once it leaks into your relationships, if you don't deal with it yourself, that's a problem with you.
Right.
But what most people do is they just blame the other person, like, oh, this person's holding a grudge. Like, nobody's holding a grudge. Like, you're pretty fucking toxic.
Right. Yeah.
But then different people have different relationships too.
Mm.
So, you know, it'd be some people that stick around. Other people are like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
So
I
it's
can
like,
stick around. I'm not gonna be the guinea pig that you
hell no.
you get it right with somebody else.
For real.
Then you come back.
Captain cut them off. Like, I'm not doing it.
That's the thing about, like we was talking about last time, forgiveness. Like, I forgive you, I guess, but I'm not gonna give you a chance to hurt me again.
Yeah.
I mean, within relationship, yes, of course, that's what relationship is about. But somebody I'm not romantically, committed to, I don't owe you that to keep hurting me over and over, and saying like, oh, I didn't know. But within a relationship, I feel like you have to have more grace within a relationship, because if you commit to somebody, you're not still supposed to just be like, all right, bye,
But,
I mean, like, depending on what it is, of course, but I think you just gotta have a little bit more grace when you enter.
I think you should, but you have to know them a little bit better. And then, like, because with intimate relationships, you're letting them into a deeper part of yourself.
Yeah.
But then they're doing more damage because they're not healthy.
Well, I'm just saying, depending on what, I'm not saying nothing crazy like.
No, I'm just saying, just the behavior, like.
Yeah, depending on what it is, you just gotta have a little bit more grace. I mean, I can say I'm learning that myself, but it's just some things I'm taking. How should I put this? Making note of for when I do get in a relationship. Like, it just be so easy to be like, well, this ain't work. Bye.
Yo, some people do that.
This ain't working out. Bye.
And then they just jump to the next thing. But we was talking about that, like when people don't think that it's them and they just like blame it on the next person, and they carry that thing to the next relationship and just keep doing it. Like, just keep dishing out their lack of self on everybody else.
I mean, because that's the thing, like, we are humans, we gonna interact with one another. I mean, if it was meant for us to be by ourselves, and I mean that, and like romantically and platonically with friends, we would just be by ourselves with nobody else around. So something is about, like, okay, it's not just your world.
Yeah. You have to be considerate of the people around you and your energetic field and your bandwidth. Right. Like, that's what family is. It's like energy first.
Right.
Like, those people that you hold close, that's a bandwidth. Like, it's a whole energetic network. And this is what people don't understand.
Yep. So yeah, like, I'm always working on things as well, or making note of the things I need to work on.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do the same thing. Like, when I feel bad, I sit still.
Mm-hmm.
Like the other day, I had this person screaming obscenities at me. And I'm like, I was really aware of myself. Like, even how crazy this shit is. Like, like I told you the situation, like, and like all these crazy things have been said. And I'm like, are you done? Are you done? You need to leave. Like, I wasn't going to reciprocate the negative energy, because I could say a whole bunch of things back. Like, I'm not a slouch as far as my awareness. I know where things stem from. Like, I could say some hurtful shit too, but I'm not going to do that. Like, are you done? I just need you to leave. Are you done?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to reciprocate the pain, but at the same time, I don't want to engage in this thing. Like, just.
That's crazy. And that's the crazy thing too, like, being aware of, like, first of all, knowing who you are as a person, and then like other people, when they come around you, if they allow another side to come out, like a negative side, it's like, hold up, that's not who I am. So if you're bringing out that negative energy in me, then I definitely don't need to be around you.
Yeah, but not only that, if you allow them to do that, you're allowing them to control you.
Yeah.
Like, you lack awareness and power over yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I was trying to avoid.
I have had that happen to me in a past relationship where I was like, hold up, this is not who I am. I'm not like
Yeah.
this. And you're just, that person was just making me upset. And, you know,
And yo, you know what? That's a red flag and a deal breaker and a learning lesson from yourself to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like if I can't sustain this pressure or whatever they're saying and not reciprocate that negative energy, maybe I need more awareness for who I am and where I am, type deal.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about it. I was like, man, I could say some horrible shit to you, but no.
Right.
Like it doesn't serve either of us for me.
Exactly. I was gonna say it's not like they're gonna hear what you're saying.
No.
Because they in their own zone, they in their own space. So yeah, you realize it's something, I don't know what it is. Like when someone's saying something to you and you lash back at them and you just keep going back and forth, it's just something like I've had that issue.
You know what it is?
Like, what'd you say?
You know what it is? They touch someplace that hurts and where you need to heal at. And that negative reaction is because they touched a hurt spot.
Yeah.
Like that's what a trigger is. All a trigger is like, that shit hurt. I need to heal this.
Yeah.
To not react like that. Because there's a difference between a reaction and a response.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like that's spaces that you need to bring awareness to.
Oh, that was in the past. Even though the other day.
No, I'm just saying in general. You know what I mean?
The other day, our Facebook friend on my post, she was like, girl, you must got time today, because I was responding back and forth.
Going in.
I said that's one of my toxic traits.
You got time to that.
Going back and forth, because I feel like what sometimes I just be like, okay. I just say okay. And then sometimes I will like go back and forth with people because I'm like, I know you're not that dumb or stupid.
No, but you know what that is? Like that's part of the same thing that's saying that hurts, so I have to react. But at the same time, it's the same thing what I was saying about giving advice. Mm-hmm. It's what's really being argued is you're not me. You need to be me. And it's going back and forth two ways. So once you bring awareness to those spaces, you realize you are you. Nobody needs to be you.
Right.
So why
waste your breath?
Yeah. Why waste the energy?
Especially for people that's really not trying to comprehend. Exactly. Like I don't mind talking and expressing to someone who's really trying to understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
But if you're not trying to understand, and I'm not gonna say he wasn't, but who knows?
Conversation is way different than an argument.
Right. Yeah.
You know me, I cut Facebook on for 3 days and I'm like, yo, I'm sick of this shit. I hate people.
Yeah, I don't do too much what you call it? Stir, what's it? Stir some, who said my friend is like to stir the pot. I try not to do it too much now. Like, it's too much energy.
It's a lot of energy.
Too much.
It's only a lot of energy when it's coming from a negative place because you're dealing from a place of lack.
Yeah.
That's what hurt is. That's when it becomes exhausting.
Yeah.
When you're exhausting your hurt.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're not benefiting from it.
I just like to show a different perspective. But I think a lot of times we all coming from our own experiences. So like you said, is people who respond, they're coming from a place of hurt, or we're all at for some extent. Hurt. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Yep.
This was a good one too. The last one was very dope. We did too. I appreciate you for pulling up.
Yeah, of course.
And dealing with my life. Wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. Crazy. Deal breaker. For sure.
I should talk about that. Like, yo.
That's crazy.
I'll tell you all about that after we cut this shit off. That's not for this because I'm not giving that no energy. But
yeah.
Thank you for pulling up.
Thank you.
I think we can end this here.
Yeah.
And I could just stop recording and we could just chop it up for a minute.
Okay. Yes, thank y'all for stopping by and watching. Let us
Absolutely.
know what y'all deal breakers and
Yeah, leave it in the
flags are. If
comments.
y'all feel that it's the same or different, just let us know.
Subscribe, hit the like button. Come up with a name for me and her chopping it up.
Yes, come up with a name for us.
Yeah, because this is always a dope conversation.
Yes.
We'll see y'all next week.
All right, peace.
Adios.